All right. This is episode 113 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. Every AFC North team that had a game on Sunday lost in crazy late game fashion this week. That includes the Browns, who lost to an honestly awful-looking Falcons team, and we're going to talk about that, Thomas. That's all of it's very good for my Bengals, who, as you recall, won on Thursday, and now we're kind of reaping the rewards of the rest of the division's very bad day. We're going to talk about that too. But finally, Steelers fans finally got what they wanted with Mitch Trubisky being benched for Kenny Pickett, and it still didn't help. Because why, Thomas?
Because Pittsburgh still sucks. Today hurts. It hurts. It hurts. I mean, Pittsburgh still sucks, though.
And dude, as bad as that Falcons game looked for y'all, like the Steelers, trust me, you don't want to be a Steelers
man, I'm going through like 4 stages now.
Well, that's fair.
Let's get through this.
Okay.
Let's just get through this.
All right. So let's, I guess, just for the sake of the way that the conversation's just naturally going to fall, let's start with the Browns and the Falcons. So y'all lost 23-20. And my biggest takeaway, actually not my biggest takeaway. I'll get to my biggest takeaway in a minute. But one of my biggest observations was that Marcus Mariota looked absolutely awful today, and y'all still lost. What the hell?
He looked horrible, and we still lost. How do you lose to a team that had a quarterback that only completed 7 passes? He completed 7 passes the entire. Look. 7 passes, and the 8th pass that he completed was the Denzel Ward, and we still lost to them. It doesn't make no sense. We literally outplayed them and still somehow lost.
He had a QBR of 26.4.
It was just like stupid stuff. Like Jacoby Brissett, Jay Beasley himself throws an absolute dime down the field to wide open Donovan Peoples-Jones. Catches the ball. Everybody's all excited. You know what they do? They go backwards. And that only gets 3 points. Just run the freaking ball up the middle and get that last inch. You are literally an inch away. No, we gotta hold him. We gotta, like, come on, man. Like, how many times I gotta shoot yourself in the foot, man? God dang. And then you had a chance to get 3 points on the board at the very beginning of the game. We decided to kick the field goal. I don't know. Why did we draft a kicker in the 3rd round or 4th round, whatever high-ass round? We just drafted this kicker named Cade York. Oh, that game was embarrassing.
Did Cade York miss a extra point?
What is that?
Did Cade York miss an extra point?
He did miss the extra point, but not today.
Geez.
They didn't go for the extra point. What they did was they decided to go for the 4th down.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so that was probably like that was part of the craziest part of this whole thing. And first of all, I don't think this has anything to do with drafting a kicker because we were on the 4-yard line. Like I don't think they decided not to go for that. I don't think they decided to go for it because they were worried that Cade York was going to miss a 21-yard kick.
Man, look.
But I will say the fact that y'all didn't take the field goal there ended up being the difference in the game.
I know. And then Jacoby Brissett throws an interception at the end of the game, obviously. But he should have been put in that situation. But, the thing is that I still think we can beat the Chargers next week.
Well, the Chargers are bad. But then again, the Falcons are bad too, so.
Yeah, I know. But, they're the Browns. It's like the last couple of years for the Browns has been like a roller coaster. Like, they're good, but like, they're the Browns. Like we've been kicking people's ass low key. Like low key, like, all right, think about it. If you combine this year's last year, since Kevin Stefanski's been a coach, they're above 500. Like they haven't really been that bad for real. I mean, they got some ballers on that team. I mean, it's not like we didn't just whoop the Steelers' ass. I mean, like they're still 2-2. Like they're not bad. They're not bad at all. They can beat the Chargers next week. You got Myles Garrett coming back, and then you have Jadeveon Clowney coming back, and that takes care of that rushing issue because you have 2 number 1 pick edge rushers. That kind of helps the running game. That kind of helps stop the run. That helps with it, man. That's what we need. We need that. JOK looked good. The defense didn't really look that bad. They were just allowing to run too much. They got ran all over. Like who the heck are these guys that ran on us? Like, all right, so the guy that we were supposed to be worried about, right? The 4th leading rusher in the NFL. He only had like 25 yards. No, you know who let beat us? Caleb Huntley. Who the hell is Caleb Huntley? Who the hell is that guy?
Actually, Tyler Algier had more rushing yards on the same number of carries.
And who the fuck is that guy either? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Yeah, y'all did a good job against Cordarrelle Patterson.
I'm trying to stay positive, Kyle. I'm trying to stay. We are still first place, though. Technically by a tiebreaker.
Yes, that's true.
And the thing is, y'all play the Ravens, so so we gotta win next week. Like next week is a must win because I gotta stay in first place for my mental health. Come on, Browns. Beat the Chargers. So we can win next week. We can win. We can win next week. I know in your heart of hearts that that there's a scenario where they win next week. That the Chargers.
Of course, the Browns can win next week because the Chargers are not very good. They almost let the Texans come back and beat them.
I needed that.
Almost. But okay, so my biggest takeaway that I kind of teased a few minutes ago from this Browns game is Thomas. Last week I came on this podcast and I said, "Oh, Thomas. Oh, this isn't good. Jacoby Brissett, he threw an interception at the very end of the game while you guys were kind of driving against the Jets. And you were like, don't worry, Kyle. It's a fluke. That's not who Jacoby Brissett is. And I was like, Thomas, I've seen Jacoby Brissett in the rest of the NFL before. I think this might be who he is. And you were like, no, Kyle, it's a fluke.
Shut up. You know what, man? Like, all right, I'm about to be real with you. There was a part of me that was thinking in my head, the Falcons only scored, 23 points? Will we have scored more points with Josh Dobbs in the game? I don't know. A part of me was thinking that in my head.
No.
Because, I mean, honestly, obviously, if you have Deshaun Watson, you win that game. Yeah. That's the difference. And this is the first time I realized, oh crap, we actually got a backup in here. This is why Jacoby Brissett is a backup quarterback. He's good, but he's not great. He's good, but he's not great. He's like man, what's the food I can describe Jacoby Brissett as? Jacoby Brissett is pork chop. Yes. Jacoby Brissett is pork chop.
Okay, now hold
pork
up.
Chops are good.
Pork chops are delicious.
What?
Pork chops are delicious. I mean, with the right seasoning, but still.
Pork chops are good, but they're not great. They're all right.
How about chicken breast? Chicken breast can be okay.
The whole point is pork chops aren't steak. I like steak. I need more steak in my life. Jacoby Brissett, he's pork chops.
Okay, but here's my point. Like Joe Burrow is steak, right? And then like Russell Wilson is like pork chops. He's pretty damn good, but is maybe not Russell Wilson because he's like potentially a Hall of Fame quarterback. Yeah, who would be like Kirk Cousins is like pork chops, you know? It's like, you know, he's pretty good, but he's not like, you know, you're not gonna like go straight for Kirk Cousins, right? And Jacoby Brissett is like chicken breast. It's like, man, if you doctor that up, if you like put everything in the right place, you put all the right seasonings and you know like and like, you know, like poach that thing in butter and everything like that, you can make a damn good chicken breast. I have had damn good chicken breast before, and I will die on that hill. It is possible to have good chicken breast. But for the most part, like, I mean, if you don't know exactly what you're doing, if you don't have the perfect plan for chicken breast, it's probably not going to be very popular. It's probably not going to be very good.
I kind of want to see Josh Dobbs. I'm thinking it's in the back of my head because these next two games are winnable. These next two games are very winnable. We got the Patriots and the Chargers. We can win both these games, and they're both at home.
Okay, but Thomas, Josh Dobbs is like great value graham crackers, right? Like,
we haven't seen him play yet.
Not in Cleveland, you haven't.
We haven't seen him play yet. We don't know what he's like. We don't know.
I've seen him play a few times before for other teams, and he was god awful.
He what was the pre? I mean, he only played like what 2 games.
Something like that. I don't know, but I have seen him play before, and he was awful when he played. Like, I mean, I'm not saying he couldn't potentially be better now. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I think you should ride with Jacoby Brissett, man. Like,
I think we should. Honestly, Jacoby hasn't been that bad.
Completely non-competitive with Josh Dobbs.
You're right. Jacoby haven't been that bad. You're right. Jacoby haven't been. I'm just overreacting. You got me on a Sunday. You got me on like this is why I don't do Sundays. Like I always talk about overreaction in the NFL world, and I try my best not to be overreactive. I try to be that asshole. I'm not even an asshole. I try to be. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. It's hard. But I try to stay like, look, in the NFL world, we overreact too much. You gonna get all kinds of overreactions on me today. You got a lot of overreactions. This is gonna be like, I'm gonna have my worst takes in this video. This is what you get when you get me on a Sunday. You get my worst takes. You want the worst takes possible. You came to the right podcast.
Maybe I mean that's entertaining. Maybe we should, you know, podcast on Sundays more often. I stream all the time. Like you want to talk about some like piss poor takes. I've had some piss poor takes in my streams before, man. Like I mean, I'll be sitting there like, you know, what did I do that for? And then like during the podcast later on, like when we recap everything, I'm like, well, the reason they did this is because of this, that, and the other. But if you go catch my live stream, you'll hear me being like, what the fuck is their fucking problem? So I understand your pain. I'm probably one of the few people on the planet. Well, I come from one of the few fan bases on the planet where I think we could understand the pain of Browns fans. But trust me, I understand.
Oh no, we're like brothers. You know?
Yeah. The curse.
I mean, y'all like Kentucky, but you know, what I mean, like we're like brothers.
Dude, you know what? Like you and Sir Yacht keep using that as an insult. I'm like, I like Kentucky. Kentucky's a good place.
It's so funny though. It's so funny. It's so perfect. It's so it's just like, look, man. Honestly though, low key, I just got this Icarus feeling the Browns are gonna be fine. Like I think they're gonna be fine. Like I legit think they could. All they got to do is just win 6-7 games. Yeah, we do still lead the division. Yeah, you're right, Ryan. And I guess my thing is that I'm
What's up, Joe?
I guess my thing is I don't know. I just there's a lot of good. Jacoby Reed doesn't look that bad. He really don't look that bad. And there's just small things that they can clean up. They can beat the Chargers. Like they can beat the Chargers, and we can have a whole nother discussion next week. They can beat the Chargers and they can beat the Patriots. So, who knows what's going to happen?
Man, depends on what's going on with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
But even then, the Patriots haven't looked that good with Mac Jones. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, so as far as the division goes. I think, there's a lot of nuance that goes. First of all, as a Bengals fan, I am thrilled. I just got to say, I am thrilled at the turn of events that have happened because, like, we shot ourselves in the damn foot the first 2 weeks. And right now, somehow we're in a 3-way tie for first place. Like, all we got to do is just basically the tables have been reset. The only reason that, like, you guys are leading the division because you beat the Steelers and we lost to the Steelers. And then the Ravens haven't played in the division game yet. But, we play the Ravens next week. If we win that game, I actually don't know. If the Browns win and the Bengals win, I actually don't know. I think because of the head-to-head matchup with the Steelers, you guys would still, like, have the tiebreaker. But, got to play better than you did this week.
Well, yeah, they do. I think they will. Kevin Stefan's got a really good track record of bouncing back. This is his worst coach game this season. I thought he coached very well against the Panthers. I thought he coached fantastically against the Jets. Like, the Jets game wasn't on Stefanski. That was Joe Woods and a special team coach. Now, granted, Kevin Stefanski should be overseeing all of that. But I thought Kevin Stefanski's offensive play calling during the Jets game was very good, was magnificent. I really loved how he ran the ball that day. And then his offensive play calling on the Steelers game was great. Like, when he gets in his zone, he gets in his zone. It just felt like today he just overthought everything. And it was the first time, like, he don't generally do that. But, like, I don't the fire of Kevin Stefanski's proud. I didn't even shut up with that mess, man. This man, like, he's still, like, you still just, like, watching these plays unfold. He's doing a lot of amazing stuff with a backup quarterback. And I just keep on thinking, man, I just couldn't imagine what he would be doing if he had Deshaun Watson. I just always be thinking that when I be watching. I'm like, man, this man, if he had Watson in there, this would be insane right now.
Well, the thing about Watson is there's going to be a rust factor. Like, I don't know how severe it's going to be. But, like, I mean, that first game back, I'm not saying y'all won't win his first game back or necessarily. I'm not trying to make any particular claims about anything. What I'm trying to say is, like, there is going to be a rust factor when Deshaun Watson comes back. So I think, I think the Browns need to get their shit together in general to prepare for Watson's comeback. Because, I mean, if you're counting on that now, if you're saying, like, oh, well, Jacoby Brissett clearly ain't it, which maybe he isn't, but, the Browns need – I think the defense in general for the Browns needs to kind of get their shit together. Not that they had a horrible game against the Falcons, but it's the Falcons. So, like, probably should have done better than 23 points.
Man, Tom Brady just got smacked. I'm sorry. I was watching that.
Tom Brady gets smacked. I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, Tom Brady, I got the game on about that.
I got the game on, but I had my notes up over it, so.
I'm just what concerns me? Our secondary looked really good today. I was thinking, like, man, finally our secondary looks good. Finally our secondary is getting this down pat. And finally our secondary is coming around. This could be a top defense. And our defense didn't look that bad to an extent. And then they started – actually, our defense looked really good until the fourth quarter. And then they just started letting these random running backs just destroy them. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Like, Atlanta don't have a good offensive line. Like, what the heck? Why can't they stop the run? And it's just like, I just always feel like our defense is underachieving. Like I just feel like our defense is just always under. Like we got probably the worst defensive coordinator in the NFL. You talk about, oh yeah, hold on. This you got me on a really raw moment. Joe Woods. What the hell? Like what the hell, dude? Like Joe Woods, I'm asking you, what the hell is this? Like, what the hell is this? I mean, Myles Garrett, I love you, man. I love you. But I mean, like, why are you driving a Porsche? Buy a Ford, dude.
I don't think that has anything to do with Joe Woods.
Get a Dodge, get a Hemi, get something that protects you, man. Come on, man. Like, come on, man. If you're gonna drive recklessly, at least drive something that's not a screaming metal death trap. Damn, we could have used you. You got me on a very bad moment right now.
So I know it feels bad, and we're gonna talk all about we're gonna talk all about how the Browns and the Browns do clearly have some poor defensive issues, but worst defensive coordinator in the NFL. I mean, it's a little suspect. I mean, first of all, the new guy for the Seahawks. I don't know what's going on with the Seahawks, but it's bad, man.
He's pretty bad though. I mean, the
Browns are really, for all the talent the Browns have the seventh worst defense in the NFL right now, or something like that.
It just feels like they're having so many mental issues. That's the only thing. There is mental mistakes. The offense seems clean. The offense, no matter what, to me, the offense just seems clean. All right, so you got a fumble. And you didn't convert on the fourth down, but they always just seem consistent, though. The offense just seems consistent. The only problem the offense is Jacoby Brissett has limited abilities, but he's very smart. But the offense seems very consistent. The defense just seems like chaos. The defense seems like chaos. They're making mistakes that they shouldn't make. They're blowing coverages. The defense losses the Jets game. The defense, if you want to blame the special teams, fine. You want to blame the miss extra point, fine. You want to blame Nick Chubb for not going out of bounds, fine. But let's just be real. Let's just be real for 5 minutes. The defense had 2 chances to stop the Jets. They had 2 chances to stop the Jets from going 80 yards twice, and they blew it. That's not on the offense. That's not on the offense at all. That's on the defense. That's a whole game right there. The defense had a chance to stop the game. They needed 1 stop. You had a quarterback that can't throw the ball 7 yards. And somehow you allow their running game, these backup running backs on a beat-up offensive line, to run all over you. That's the defense. So if the defense performed better, maybe we might win more. And I just can't get that out of my head. This guy, man, Joe Woods ain't it, man. I'm sorry. Cool and all, but you ain't it, though.
So and that might be fair. I actually do kind of agree. Joe Woods is definitely not doing a good job with the defense. But so I have a point. I mentioned the Seahawks defensive coordinator earlier, but I have another person who I want to bring up. Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. Former Pro Bowl linebacker, by the way. I didn't realize he was a defensive coordinator now. But so Aaron Glenn, his Detroit Lions had a football game today, and in that football game, their offense scored 45 points. Do you know what the result of that game was for the Lions, Thomas?
They lost by 5 points.
By 3 points. They lost despite the fact that their offense put up 45 points. I think Aaron Glenn is clearly an awful defensive coordinator when you can't even get a win out of your offense scoring 45 points.
I mean, wait, hold up. Pause for 1 second, Kyle. Chubb and a Hunt plus Deshaun Watson return with yeah. You're right about that one. You're right about that one.
Thomas, do you want to know something interesting?
Oh, by the way, let me say this. By the way, you said that if you put up 45 points, your defense should be able to win the game for you. Well, last year the Browns gave up. They lost to the Chargers 42-45. It was like Browns, week 4 too, right?
Yeah.
I remember that game.
Yeah, no, that I know. Joe Woods is up there. I'm just saying, like, now here's the thing. I will say Joe Woods has a lot more talent to work with than Aaron Glenn or the Seahawks defensive coordinator. So that is one thing. Like, Joe Woods probably should be getting better results when you have this kind of talent that like the Browns have.
By the way, thanks for the comment. Y'all keep on commenting. Y'all comment as much as possible.
Yeah, speaking of that comment, Thomas, I actually forgot to play this earlier, but the person who left that comment did this.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
I just felt iconic. It's good. I felt that was a good transition because I totally forgot to play the intro earlier, but now we have the intro.
Yeah, and let's talk about these Bengals.
Yeah, we already talked about the Bengals on the last podcast, but I think the important thing to note about the Bengals is they have almost done a complete 180 from the way that they started the season. They starting out really honestly. A couple of plays go differently, like one or two different plays the whole season go differently. We could be 4-0 right now.
Yeah.
And that that's true. It's true. A lot of teams really could be. But my whole point in saying that is like the Bengals I think have shown the last couple of weeks, the Bengals have shown that, they're still a team to be contending with, despite the fact that, like the first 2 weeks just went like disastrously bad. This is still a team to pay attention to. And the fact that we're tied for first place now, I know we don't have a tiebreaker. Yeah. I know the Browns have the tiebreaker on us, but that's partially because of that weird.
We should be 3-1. We should be. Damn, we should be.
Well, you know what? We should be 4-0, Thomas.
You know what? It's fine. It's fine. You know what? It's on. It is on, mofo. Because y'all got to come to Cleveland and beat. Y'all got to beat the Browns on Monday night on a Halloween. Y'all not winning that game. Y'all like if I could promise you one thing, Kyle, y'all not winning that game. Like y'all are not like, dude. That night, y'all ain't coming to Cleveland on Halloween. Like, y'all ain't bringing that bullshit to Cleveland on Halloween. I'm sorry. Y'all ain't bringing, like, Joe Burrow with the swagger and all that shit. Like, he's cool and all. Like, he's cool. Like, Joe Burrow's cool and all. Yeah, cool. All right, pretty boy, Welcome to the land. It's the land. It's not just the land. It's the land on Halloween. Man, it's going to be juiced up, man. Oh, god dang. The stadium's going to be rocking. The stadium's going to be popping. And then Nick Chubb
have a lot of
going
Bengals
to be chopping.
There too. He's going to be chubbing. All right. That's a good perspective to take.
Good job.
As far as Halloween, all right, yeah. As far as Halloween goes, is that before or after Deshaun Watson comes back?
That's before.
So you're telling me
you still got 3 more weeks? Back? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 3 more weeks.
Fine.
Yeah.
We're gonna be fine. We ain't gonna get swept by the Browns again this year. It's just not happening. God, that made me so mad last year. Like, as much as like I understood that and agreed with the decision to not play the starters in week 18 last year. I didn't want to get swept by the Browns, man. Like, I understand, and like it worked out, like whatever, but like I just didn't want to get swept by the Browns, man. If you rest all the starters, you're gonna lose.
Hey, we might sweep the Steelers this year.
I think everybody might sweep the Steelers. Well, wait, no shit. We can't obviously not sweep the Steelers. Okay, so you guys and the Ravens might sweep the Steelers this year. We will beat the Steelers and then should have swept the Steelers. Again, you know, like Aaron. Actually, based going back to Aaron's comment over here, you know, if you think about it, if Evan McPherson makes that field goal, if Clark Harris doesn't get hurt and the Bengals aren't using Mitchell Wilcox as a long snapper, and, you know, Evan McPherson makes the extra point, not even just the field goal, but the extra point. If Evan McPherson makes that, the Steelers are 0-4 right now. Isn't that a beautiful thought?
You know what I was thinking, though? Is the Ravens don't really look that good either. Like they should have won that game. They like am I tripping here?
Should have won last week too.
Like, am I tripping here? Am like, do the Ravens, like, those the Ravens look like out of sync? Doesn't it look like there's something wrong with the Ravens?
Oh, yeah.
Trouble in paradise?
Man, trust me. Like, when we get to the state of the AFC North later, I have got some – I'm going to lay into the Ravens, dude. Like, you know, I mean, really, honestly, the whole AFC North – the AFC North is not the juggernaut division that it normally is. Like, the Steelers are trash. The Ravens are – you know, the Ravens, the Browns. Right, you know, I'm sorry, Thomas, but the Browns are kind of trash right now. The Bengals are
look. We still not trash. The thing is about the Browns is that their schedule just like it really is about hard. So like they can legit win next week. Like they legit like the Browns. All they have to do is just bullshit until Watson gets back. That's all they got to do is just bullshit till Watson gets back. They can do that.
They are bullshitting.
Well, that's all they do. That's all they got to do is just bullshit until the Watson gets back. That's pretty much all they have to do. I mean, all right. So they totally fumbled the bag though, because I said they'll go 3-1 the first 4 games. I said that'll be fine, and then they went 2-2. So completely fumbled the bag there. Yeah, but. The thing is, the Chargers are an easier matchup than we thought they were, as well as the Patriots are easier matchup than we thought they were. Also, low key, I think that the Patriots are going to be an easier matchup than we thought they were. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I think the Browns are honestly worse than we thought they would be. Like, because don't get me wrong, the Browns are the Browns have lost the last 2 games. Like, Jacoby Brissett has been part of the reason, but he's not the whole reason the Browns are losing. Like, the Browns are losing because that defense is just, you know, bad.
That'll be fine. It's about to get fun. It's about to get fun.
It will be an interesting thing. So before we move on to talk about the predictions recap, who's your underrated player of the week for the Browns? We already did the Bengals on the last podcast, but let's talk about the Browns.
Let me think. My underrated player for the Browns is David Bell. Yeah. He got some catches. Like, he looks nice, low-key. Like, I think he's going to be a nice little weapon. I think he's going to be nice. I'm interested in that. I want more of that kid.
Yeah. He had the one, like, a 20-yard catch at one point.
Yeah, it was nice. I want more of him.
Yeah. Yeah, he was he was definitely pretty good. I'm going to give my underrated player of the week award this week to David Njoku. Just not because like people don't know who he is or anything like that. It's just like I feel like he kind of gets forgotten about. And do y'all like? Do y'all still have Austin Hooper or the other guy, or is it just a David Njoku?
No, Hooper don't play for the team no more. Is Harrison Bryant?
So you do still have Harrison Bryant?
Yeah, I like him too. He's nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I
shoot, he
kind of
ball.
Kind of a solid tight end room, but David Njoku was easily, I think, your best pass catcher this week. 5 catches, 73 yards, one of which went for 25 yards. So, I mean, I like David Bell. David Bell's a good pick. I like that. I respect that. But David Njoku did better, and I feel like a lot of people forget about David Njoku.
I think they could win next week. I really do think they could win next week. And I think if they win next week, I mainly think they could win next week because I just don't trust the Chargers. I don't see the Chargers as this big juggernaut team. Like I think the Chargers have just as many, if not more, issues than we do.
The difference is they have they have a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, but their franchise quarterback got some. He has some
issues with his body. That's true. That's true.
I had a first-hand look at a quarterback play through his injury, man. I had a first-hand look at that last year.
By the way, real quick before we move on, while we're still talking about underrated players, he wasn't my underrated player of the week for obvious reasons, but I just want to shout out Jacoby Brissett for that rushing touchdown he had. Man, that was a cool as hell. I was streaming the Ravens Bills game today, and I was briefly kind of flipping back and forth between red zone, during the off time because I wanted to have something to talk about, so I just kept going to red zone. And I saw at one point I flipped to red zone, and it was Jacoby Brissett just weaving in and out of tacklers and running into people, and he ended up with a touchdown. I'm like, bro, I didn't know you had it in you, Jacoby Brissett. Good for you.
No, he's been playing well. He's been playing well.
Yeah, I already gave him the underrated player of the week award earlier this year, and quite honestly, I don't feel that he really played well enough to deserve it this week. But that was a super underrated play.
Honestly, I think you could win. You could win 6 games with Jacoby. He's gonna sneak up on somebody. Cause you really think about it, you clean up. It was literally 1 or 2 things here and there that they had to clean up. You just think about if you just don't do one of those stupid things, just don't do one of those stupid things. If you just kick the field goal instead of going for it on 4th down, you have won the game. If David Njoku didn't fumble, you would have won the game. It's just small stuff. If the defense got 1 3rd down conversion and gave it back to the offense so they could run the clock, you would have won the game. It's literally just do one more thing right. That's all they needed to do. I mean, that's football, I guess. That's the NFL. They still lost.
So here's the thing for the Browns to get to 6 wins. When Deshaun Watson comes back, they're going to need to win more of their games going forward than they lose. And so it's just I do agree. I'm not making my prediction yet, but I do agree they can beat the Chargers next week. They can beat the Patriots the week after that. But then you got at Baltimore, you've got, in Cincinnati versus the Bengals. You've got a much different Bengals team than we were looking at a couple weeks ago. You've got the Dolphins, who, I mean, honestly, that might, depending on what happens, that might be a win, just because of the whole Tua Tagovailoa situation. We don't know. But then again, we don't know what it's going to look like in a month. So, I mean, maybe he looks better in a month. I don't know. Then you got the Bills. I mean, that's going to be a tough one. And you got the Bucs. So, you close out against the Bills and Buccaneers before Deshaun Watson comes back. So, I mean, you need 4 wins out of that schedule that I just said, and I don't see 4 wins here.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you where they're coming. Okay. We're gonna beat the Chargers.
Okay.
We're gonna beat the Patriots.
Okay.
Ooh. We're gonna lose to Baltimore. I want to give it to them. I badly want to give it to them. I think what's gonna happen is that they're gonna beat the Chargers and they're gonna beat the Patriots. I think that's gonna happen. I think they're gonna be on track because ultimately I do trust Kevin Stefanski as a coach. But I just think that Lamar Jackson is just. See, I think they're gonna keep that Ravens game is gonna be very close. I think that Ravens game is going to be very, very close. I think that Ravens game will be a very good game. But at the end of the day, I just think Lamar Jackson greater than Jacoby Brissett. And I just I mean, ask me in 2 weeks. If we beat the Patriots and the Chargers, ask me in 2 weeks because the Ravens don't really look that good. And maybe in 2 weeks, the Browns will clean up some things. Maybe in 2 weeks, everything will look different. So ask me in 2 weeks, but I just don't see them winning that Ravens game.
Well,
but that Bengals game at home, who won that game? Who won that game? Who won that money?
Wait, no, is that at home? There. Okay, so I read that schedule wrong. I was thinking it was in Cincinnati. Still gonna lose.
Yeah, we're winning that game.
Oh, you're gonna lose.
So that's 5. And then you have the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Buccaneers. We can beat the Dolphins. We're not beating the Bills or the Buccaneers.
You can beat the Dolphins, especially if Tua is having issues. But then again, I mean, I don't know. Like, the Dolphins get a couple of weeks of like getting used to Teddy Bridgewater. Might be a little bit different. So I mean, here's the thing. I totally believe you could beat the Chargers and beat the Patriots. I don't know if you will. That doesn't seem like a very Browns thing to do, right? To actually take care of business against, two opponents that like you should beat, but also have
every
some
other year.
talent.
It's every other year, man. It's every other year they take a step forward.
So, all right. So I mean, even if I'll give you the Chargers and Patriots for now. I'm still not entirely sure I agree that you're going to beat both of them, but for now, let's
just say we beat one of them.
Let's just say you beat. Well, if you just beat one of them, you ain't getting the 6 wins. But let's just say maybe you beat both of them. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't think you're beating the Ravens, like you said. You're not beating the Bengals. And then like maybe you beat the Dolphins, but it just kind of really depends on what the Dolphins are looking like at that point. And so like that's maybe 3 wins right there. But if you don't beat the Dolphins, then that's still only 2 wins. You could be getting Deshaun Watson back on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, I want to.
At least we get Deshaun Watson back against the Texans. Like that's a good team to get his like stress out, like just to get like all his keys out. If you could just get 6 wins, like there gotta be like it's like a puzzle to me right now. I'm looking at this, like I literally got the schedule like right now on my computer, just looking at it. I'm just looking at every single one of these games. I'm hyper analyzing all of them. I'm playing out every single scenario in my head. You know what? You know what's crazy to me? They ain't gonna beat either the Bills or the Buccaneers. They're gonna win one of those games. It's just that I just trust Kevin Stefanski. It's not that I don't trust the Browns. I trust Kevin Stefanski. Like I know that guy is a really good coach. Like I know he's a good coach. And I know he has some tricks up his sleeve. I just know he does. Like, I just watched the way he just called offensive plays. It is so beautiful to watch him call plays. And I'm just like, how is nobody else seeing this beauty right here? And I just think that he got some tricks up his sleeve. I think we can beat the Chargers and the Patriots. Okay, you know what? Look, let's beat the Chargers, and then let's play the Patriots, and let's have this conversation in 2 weeks.
So, Thomas, I don't know if you noticed, but we got a little bit of a discussion going on here in the comments.
I'm looking at
Thomas Smith came in and said the Steelers run the North.
Okay, Steelers running out of the North.
don't run shit right now.
Yeah,
Steelers are in last place.
Pittsburgh sucks.
Aaron's got a good point. Steelers offense is worse than Denver's. They don't run shit. Like, dude, Mitch Trubisky got benched. Like he was awful. And Kenny Pickett looked better, but I mean, still he didn't look like really anything worth much. But anyway, that's we need to go ahead. We will get to the state of the AFC North here in a second. Let's talk about these predictions, Thomas. So far, we are like I said, you caught up to me last week, and so we're tied on the season. And so far, right now, we are tied on predictions for this week too. We're both 8-6.
Wow. Oh yeah, the Eagles won. Matt, take that, Jaguars.
Yeah, that sucked. That was unfortunate to watch. So games that we both got wrong. We both picked the Browns to beat the Falcons. Obviously we just spent a bunch of time talking about that. That didn't work out so well. We both also picked the Lions to beat the Seahawks. I did not take into account that the Lions would let the Seahawks score 48 fucking points. Mm-hmm. Jesus. And then we both picked the Colts to beat the Titans. They almost kind of came back and did something at the end, but ultimately the Titans took care of business there. So that was what we got as far as like we both just completely got that wrong. But outside of that, you picked the Vikings beating the Saints correctly. I personally am. I have the same damn problem with the Vikings that I had last year. I constantly, whenever I pick them, they lose, and whenever I pick against them, they win, and I'm sick and tired of it. I should have known though, because first of all, I didn't know Andy Dalton was going to be playing for the Saints. If I had known Andy Dalton was going to be playing for the Saints, I would have known that he probably wouldn't play so well under the bright lights on national television. I'm like, okay, so Andy Dalton's probably not going to play so well. So I probably would have picked the Vikings at that point. But then again, Kirk Cousins is never all that good under the bright lights either. So it came down to the very end, Thomas, where Will Lutz, the kicker for the New Orleans Saints, attempted, I believe, a 51-yard field goal, and it hit the upright, and then it hit the crossbar.
That was insane.
We got it.
That was insane. I just missed it. See, because I was walking to the bar, and then my friend was like, "Yo, you see that game? Like, what, the Vikings game?" Like, yeah. I was like, "No, I was just walking. I just got in the bar." And he was like, "Yo, yeah." He showed me the video. Think, "Oh, that's insane." Just bing, bing.
Right. Yeah. So you got that one right, but I came very close to getting that one right. You picked the Giants over the God. Who did they play? I can't even remember because nobody cares about the Giants. Man, I don't know why I cannot think of who they played, but I picked the Giants to lose, the Bears. So I picked the Bears to beat the Giants, and the Giants won, and it was not really a very good game worth watching, which I did anticipate that. I also anticipated that Justin Fields would play better than Daniel Jones, which did in fact happen. But Justin Fields also didn't play particularly well either. He had 174 passing yards. Daniel Jones had 71 passing yards. And Tyrod Taylor actually came into the game at one point. He had 11 passing yards. And yet Saquon Barkley just absolutely dominated that game. He had 146 rushing yards, Thomas.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's back. Yeah, Saquon's back.
I think Saquon might have actually, if I recall correctly, I think Saquon was the reason why you picked the Giants to win that game.
I need this hat. I need to wear this hat. You know what? I still love you. Now Saquon looked nice, man. It's great to see him come back from injury and play hard like that. Excited for Odell Beckham too. See what he does.
Odell Beckham.
Yeah, I can't wait to see when he comes back. I was concerned because he tore the ACL again. I was like, yeah, maybe Odell Beckham might not be the same when he comes back, but Saquon could look good when he came back. Maybe Odell
I thought you were suggesting he was back on the Giants. I'm like, what?
No.
After that whole mess about him being like, they sent me to Cleveland to die. It's like he went back there.
Man, I wish the whole Odell thing worked out. Man. That was just disappointing.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, but you know, I also like in fairness, I kind of called that when it happened. I'm like, dude, this is not like trading this much for Odell is a dumb idea. Don't like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
So I just want to point out that I said that was a dumb idea when it happened, and I was right.
We got Amari Cooper now. Amari Cooper's nice.
Yeah,
Amari Cooper's nice. Damn.
Yeah, and you got Jacoby Brissett throwing him the ball.
Thank God we got Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Amari Cooper and Jacoby Brissett.
Can't wait till Deshaun Watson.
I can't either, because I can't wait for him to be like rusty and for me to be right about that.
He's not. Look, I don't know why you keep saying. I don't know why anybody keeps saying that. Like, I don't.
Because he wasn't good last time he played.
No, it was preseason, man. Look, man, he's been training with a trainer. Going to see him one series, 2 series. Fine.
No, I meant for the Texans. The last time he played for the Texans, he wasn't good.
I think by the time he plays in the game, I think his first game he'll be fine. I think his first game he has like a mediocre game where he get warmed up. But that second game scares me because I don't think that he ever plays in elements. So
next game that you got right and I got wrong. We actually already mentioned this one earlier, but the Jaguars and the Eagles. Jaguars almost mounted a furious comeback and came back, but I gotta eat my crow here. The Eagles are not a fluke. The Eagles, I think, might be for real now. The Eagles are a very good football team, and I need to stop doubting them because, man. And Jalen Hurts looks good.
He's nice, man. Jalen Hurts is nice. That kid is nice, man. Like he just keeps on getting better and better, doesn't he? He just keeps on getting better and better, man. That's the crazy thing about the NFL today is like you might have a nice quarterback, but there's always a nicer quarterback out there. And that's what had me thinking. Like, Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. Deshaun Watson is going to be a great quarterback. But people keep on telling me, man, what happens if Deshaun Watson leaves? But I keep on having this thought in my head, man, what happens if we draft Deshaun Watson's replacement? And he's a little more durable. I was thinking that too. I was thinking about everything. But I think Deshaun Watson is probably going to be a generational talent. I shouldn't say that actually. Deshaun Watson is going to be a generational talent.
Deshaun Watson's already a generational talent. What are you talking about?
I don't know what I'm thinking. That was the stupidest take ever. Deshaun Watson is going to be a generational talent. Like Deshaun Watson
already a generational talent.
Like no, we ain't ever getting rid of that dude. We ain't ever that guy ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. He's a Brown for life. That man ain't going nowhere. I ain't letting that man. I'm like, hey, I'm going to Miami. No, you're not. You ain't going to Miami. You ain't going nowhere. No, what we had to put up for you. No, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere, dude. You ain't leaving. Sorry.
All right. So those were the 3 games that I got wrong that you got right. So let's move on to the games that you got wrong, so I can tear you apart here for a second. So I don't know what you see in the Panthers. I don't know what you see in the Panthers.
I thought I would give my boy Baker Mayfield a chance. Because the thing is,
fair enough. I like him too.
Is that I'm at the point where I gotta admit that I'm wrong. I'm at the point where I gotta admit that I'm wrong, and I was just like a Hail Mary. I'm like, man, maybe Baker still got it. You know, maybe he still got it. Nope, he doesn't. He's trash.
It's not about Baker. I mean, it's partially about Baker. Baker's not good enough to elevate the whole team, but I mean, part of it's just the Panthers are so bad, dude. Like. The Panthers might be the worst team in the NFL. And that's not because of Baker. Like, I mean, Baker, like, I don't think Baker's the worst quarterback in the NFL by any means. But like his team is horrible, and he's like mid-tier, honestly. Like Baker would be great if he was playing for the Packers, but he's playing for the Panthers, so everything's going terrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Baker probably rebound. It's just that coach stuck. Matt Rule, he trash. He just looks like he don't know what he's doing out there. He'd be like, that's literally his face. That's literally his face.
I mean, I don't really understand why he thought he could come from Baylor and just start running an NFL team right away.
Yeah, nah.
I did not think that was smart.
I'm done with the Panthers. They're gonna be the worst team in the NFL.
They are. I think they might be the worst team in the NFL.
Well, beyond the Texans, obviously.
Next game that you got wrong, you thought that the Broncos were going to beat the Raiders. And man, like Thomas, I am telling you, like that Broncos offense might be worse than when Drew Lock was their quarterback. Like obviously Russell Wilson is not as bad as Drew Lock, but I mean that Broncos offense is just like the best game they just had the best game they've had all year offensively. And it was 23 points. It wasn't nearly enough to keep up with Derek Carr.
I didn't see that game.
It was a 425 game.
Maybe Russ is pork chop.
Dude, I don't need you over here slandering pork chops. Like, pork chops are delicious.
Yeah, all right, but they ain't steak.
Yeah, but no, dude, steak's great. Obviously, I mean,
that's what I'm saying, man.
When you have a
Joe
quarterback,
Burrow, steak. Deshaun Watson, steak.
Well, yeah, Deshaun
Andy
Watson
Dalton
might be
pork
rancid
chop.
Steak. Andy, there you go. Andy Dalton is pork chop.
Andy Dalton is a pork chop. Andy Dalton
because
is a pork chop.
He can be a solid quarterback. That's the thing about Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is just adjusting. So I think Russell Wilson might be pork chops, but that's a good analogy because pork chops are a very good food. And Russell Wilson's a very good quarterback.
Man, he just looks like it looks like the Seahawks is right. The Seahawks is right about something. Like, why were they so willing? Did anybody ever think about why were the Seahawks so willing of giving this guy away?
But they were like, did you see what the Broncos had to give up to get him?
Yeah, but like, it just felt like the Seahawks just did not want to try to make it work at all. Like that just was so suspect to me. Like the Seahawks was like, somebody else takes this guy. Like he's supposed to be this like generational talent. Don't you think if like he was this great talent and you have DK Metcalf, don't you think they would have tried harder to make it work? Did it just seem like they didn't really care? There was he was like, I'm about to leave. They're like, oh, okay, Russ. Oh my God, you really want to leave? Go ahead, go leave.
Well, they didn't though. They were refusing to trade him at first. But I think the thing about the Russell Wilson thing is like Russell Wilson, I think, didn't really want to be a part of it. And if you don't want to be a part of it, it's not going to work. The thing is like the Seahawks needed to go into a rebuild. And I think that's part of the reason they traded him was because they were like, what assets do we have? Well, we got Russell Wilson. He's getting kind of old. So, might as well cash out on him while we can.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, like, by the time the Seahawks fix their issues, Russell Wilson's going to be old and broken down by then anyway. So I think it was more of I don't think it was so much they thought Russell Wilson was washed up. I think they thought that they don't have, like, Russell Wilson doesn't have enough time for them to get their shit together.
I think he's right. I think he's getting there. I think we're seeing, like, a career decline. Like, I'm, like, shocked. He's like the Russell Westbrook of the NFL. Russell Wilson,
interesting.
Westbrook. They're like,
that is fair.
Too easy.
I will say though, I don't know about that. Because I mean Russell Wilson's still playing fairly well. He's just not getting it done when it needs to get done. But I mean, dude had 124.9 quarterback rating.
I can't hear.
I just think. I just don't think Russell Wilson quite fits the Broncos scheme in the way that everybody thought he was going to right away. I think give it like maybe 2 years, and it'll start cooking. But I just think, and maybe even by the end of this season, the Broncos like start making a push at the end of the season. I don't know, but I just like as with most free agent quarterbacks, I think it's gonna, and most free agent NFL players in general, is gonna be an adjustment period, and especially with Denver having a new offensive coordinator and everything too.
Yeah.
And a new head coach, and just everything's brand new there in Denver. It's gonna take some time.
Yeah, I agree.
So my whole thing was like everybody calling them Super Bowl contenders. I was like, that's stupid. I don't think going and getting Russell Wilson was a bad idea. I just think, I think people have a tendency to like lack patience in the NFL. And it's just like the problem is if you want to build a real contender, you have to have patience. Look at the Bengals, right? Like, this thing that we've been building, I know it seems like we kind of came out of nowhere in 2021, but the fact of the matter is we've been building this since like 2019. At the very least. And even then we were, kind of trying to build around Andy Dalton, and we were having a lot of issues. But like, a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now has been in the works for a long time. And it took years to get there. That's why that's why it gets on my nerves when people are like, oh, the Bengals were a 1-year fluke team. It's like, no, dude, we've been building this for a while. Like, this has been a long time coming. That's why the Browns get on my nerves so much. They don't, because obviously they're a rival team, and it's good when they do badly for my team. But that's why, if like from an objective standpoint, the Browns get on my nerves so much because they're constantly turning everything over. They don't take the time to actually build something there in Cleveland. When things start kind of slightly going wrong, they have the tendency to just slam the reset button. And that's why
I'm
gets on my nerves.
That's why I'm telling people, don't, like, you might get your wish and you might not like it if you're Kevin Stefanski, because I think he's a great coach. Just be patient.
I completely agree. So last game that we need to talk about that you got wrong and I got right. You thought that the Steelers were going to beat the Jets, which I understand.
Look, I am mad about that one. Shut Pittsburgh.
No, that's the thing, honestly. Like, we should like when it comes to predictions, we should just pick the Ravens and Steelers to win every single game. That way, when they lose, it's just kind of like, I ain't even mad, like, for real. Yeah. Or if it's the other way around, if they win, it's like, well, I picked them, so
Pittsburgh. But no, anyway.
That'd be the strategy. But I don't know. I kind of had a feeling that. If you look at some of the film from Mitch Trubisky lately, you'll see how bad he is. He's missing dudes like everything that Odell Beckham Jr. complained about Baker Mayfield. That's true about Mitch Trubisky. That's how bad he is. and that's why he got benched. Kenny Pickett's in now.
Yeah.
If I had to bet, Kenny Pickett's probably permanently in now. And it's like Kenny Pickett actually did okay. It's not like Kenny Pickett went in and it was just too big for me or anything like that, but he wasn't good enough, and he had a chance to go win that game and he just didn't. Kenny Pickett, I believe, oh no, I'm wrong. Kenny Pickett threw 3 picks. He looked terrible. What? Oops. That's what I get for watching the Bills game.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. Literally. They're going to be bad for a very long time, dude. Oh, man. It looks like Tomlin gets fired. That would be the funniest thing ever.
He's not going to get fired. That's the Steelers don't.
I don't know, man.
To their detriment, Mike Tomlin should have been fired back in 2018. Honestly,
what if Kenny Pickett is just bad? Like, what if he's just bad? Like, what if he's just he's just a bad quarterback? Like, what if he get in there and he's just like, damn,
that'd be hilarious.
This dude sucks.
Kenny Pickett actually did almost the same thing that Jacoby Brissett did. Had a chance to win it at the end of the game, got halfway down the field, and then threw an interception.
I don't know, man. We don't know yet. The book is still out on it. Let's see what happens.
Well, obviously, I'm
giving
just
you the benefit of the
making
doubt.
fun of the Steelers. And speaking of which, that's actually a good transition because we're over an hour now, so we need to wrap up and talk about the state of the AFC North. So I guess we can. I want to start with the Ravens because I streamed that game. By the way, I'm very intimately familiar with what happened in this game. And Thomas, this is the second week in a row that the Ravens have blown a huge lead. Like, don't forget, they were up 20-3 on the Bills in the first half. I was streaming this game, and I was saying, like, oh my God, maybe I should have picked, maybe I, like, because I had one, like, I asked people on
second
on
or third
Facebook, second week.
because then they blow a lead. The same we lost to the Jets, and they blow a lead too.
Yeah, against the Dolphins last week. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they blew a lead to the Dolphins.
That's what I'm saying. That's 2 weeks in a row. Last week the Dolphins, and this week the Bills.
Oh, I thought you were saying with the Patriots. Didn't they play the Patriots last week?
But they beat the Patriots.
Yeah, but they were winning against the Patriots, and the Patriots came back again.
No. Last week they played the Dolphins.
Yeah, they did play. Yeah, I'm sorry.
They lost, and then the week before they almost like let the Patriots come back, but then they didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, I think we can rename this team to the Baltimore Falcons. But look, 2 weeks in a row that the Ravens, 3 weeks in a row that the Ravens have blown big leads to opposing teams. 2 weeks in a row that they've lost. And it's not Lamar Jackson's fault because Lamar Jackson's out there. He's doing good stuff. It's just like the Ravens defense will play really well at first, and then they'll just kind of like forget how to play football. And then the running game, again, they'll play really well at first, and then they'll just forget how to run the ball. Like, J.K. Dobbins was tearing it up early in that game, but by the end of the game, he couldn't get like half a yard when he needed to. The Bills were all over him in the backfield.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with the Ravens, but something about the Ravens I just don't trust them.
Well, again, it's not Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is like,
he looks phenomenal. He looks insane.
He looks great. I mean, he wasn't perfect this week. And I heard what you said about the Giants. Yes, that would be very funny. I don't entirely know what the Ravens would do if they lost Lamar Jackson. Like, they've kind of built their entire franchise and future hopes around him. I will say Lamar Jackson did. He also threw a late game interception. And that's part of the reason that the Bills were like, the Bills almost let the Ravens win that game. And then Lamar Jackson threw a pick at the 2-yard line. And then the Bills traveled down the field and ran out all the time on the clock and kicked a field goal and won. But I absolutely really, really think it's important to point out that the Ravens have been kind of the opposite of the Bengals this year, right? Like the Bengals have like been getting off to these terrible starts and then finding, ways to, the last 2 weeks, they've been finding ways to win. And then the Ravens have been getting out to really incredible hot starts and then just blowing it like the Falcons, basically. So I mean, like this whole idea that the Bengals are going to have a really tough matchup against the Ravens next week, like every NFL game's a tough matchup. But you remember what happened the last 2 times we played the Ravens, Thomas?
I mean, I honestly think that you guys are going to smoke the Ravens. Y'all destroyed them last year.
Yeah, twice.
Y'all destroyed, like Jamar Chase
ass.
You know what's crazy though is T. Higgins looks so good out there. And like I'm just like watching him. I'm like, man, like I know everybody clamor over Jamar, but I'm like, man, T. Higgins, he had 117 yards last week. He looked nice.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, NFL teams are paying way too much attention to Jamar Chase right now because they saw what happened last year and they're like, we can't got to make the Bengals work for it. Their version of making the Bengals work for it is making them throw to T. Higgins, which is like, okay, that's fine. We'll throw it to T. Higgins. He'll have the season Jamar Chase had last year. That's fine.
Yeah, no, y'all gonna be great.
It's gonna be interesting when we have to pay them both because don't forget there's gonna come a point like we've been having these big free agency runs and everything lately, but in a couple of years there's gonna come this point we're gonna have to pay Joe Burrow, and T. Higgins in the same year. And then the very next year, it's Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Like, we've got some decisions to make here coming soon.
That'll be fine.
I mean, I think we'll be all right. But, anyway, getting back to the Ravens, I don't see it, man. Like, they're 2-2 now for a reason. I think the Bengals will beat them next week, and then moving forward, I don't, as good as they looked for the first couple weeks, I don't necessarily think they're a playoff team.
Yeah. Interesting. Hey, we might be able to beat the Ravens.
And I had them in my top 10 in my power rankings. But not
they
now.
They could be 2-3 next week.
I think they will be.
They could be 2-3. Man, we got to be Chargers. Like, we just got to tread water. Just tread water for now. Just tread water. That's
but the thing is, you have to be better than you have to be above 500 for the next.
No, the thing is, like,
to get where you want.
The NFL, like, the AFC is not even as good as it. Like, now I'm confident that 9-17. Every day as we get closer and closer to time, I'm more confident that they're going to be at 9-17 in the that makes playoffs. And I know how this stuff goes, man. The NFL season is so long. Like, it's short, but it's long. So much stuff happens over time. Like, so much stuff change. Like, if you just tread water, if you're just there, if you just stick around, long enough, you could get hot at the right time and just make playoffs. Especially when 7 teams aren't get in. That's what I'm saying. That's why I just keep on saying, just win a game here. Just stay above 500 by a game or stay around 500. Just don't go under 500. Just stay above 500. That's all you have to do. Stay above 500. That should be the goal here. Just stay at or above 500. That's all we have to do. That's just like sticking in my head because the AFC is really not as good as it like seems. There's problems everywhere. There's so many teams in the NFL that got problems. Like the league is so even right now. Fuck the Ravens.
Fuck the Steelers.
Fuck
and boy was this week. I just want to put this comment back up again. I don't even think he's watching anymore. But I just want to put this comment up again. The Steelers running the North. That's funny.
Yeah, fuck the Steelers. I hate them too.
So I didn't get to watch this game as much as I wanted to because I was streaming the Ravens game. Had I been watching just by myself, and not trying to like put up a stream where a bunch of people like trying to like get people to watch my stream and stuff like that. I picked the Ravens game because I felt like that was the most compelling game of the 1 p.m. slots. But I think if it had just been me, I probably would have watched the Jets-Steelers game just because I really had a feeling the Jets were going to pull this off. And man, from my own petty standpoint, as good of a game as that Bills-Ravens game was, I think I would have loved to watch Mitch Trubisky get benched and then Kenny Pickett come in and throw 3 interceptions. Like, man, that would have been a good day for me. Unfortunately, that probably wouldn't have been the best decision to stream because wouldn't have had as much of a chance to compel people to watch. But if watching of my own accord, I probably would have watched this game, and it would have been a good one to watch, I'll tell you that. But man, dude, Kenny Pickett, 3 interceptions in the second half, like, and 2 interceptions on their final 2 on their final 2 drives. He threw interceptions on both of those. On both of those. Don't forget, the Steelers were winning. Like Kenny Pickett helped them get ahead. I believe he actually scored a rushing touchdown to put the Steelers ahead halfway through the third quarter. But after that, actually, the Steelers were winning 20-10.
How did we lose to the Jets?
How did we lose to the Steelers? But like the Steelers were up 20-10
like I'm
on
so
the
confused here.
Jets.
We should have beat. We should like look. Let's just do something. Let's just act like the first 4 weeks didn't exist for a while.
I'm down for pretending the first 2 weeks didn't exist. But
let's just call like the first 2 weeks. But like that's the thing though. Like people don't understand. The first 2 weeks of the NFL is so crazy because stupid stuff always happens. Like the first quarter of the season is so crazy. Like you remember the Chiefs last year? Oh, what's wrong with the Chiefs? Oh my God, what is wrong with the Chiefs? What is going on with the Chiefs? No, the Chiefs are fine.
Yeah. No, dude, I agree. I think that the first 2 weeks of the season, like, you really kind of got to write that off. I mean, crazy things happen, like the Browns winning in week 1. That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, like Bengals, man. Oh, no, the Bengals started 0-2. Oh, no, what's wrong? Like, what? Even if y'all lose, tomorrow or next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all still probably going to win the division.
Okay, so maybe, but if we lose
next
week, we're definitely going to be pretty far behind. No, that's what I'm saying. Let's be real. Like, if we lose next week, then we're giving the Ravens a hell of an advantage. Like, I mean, losing next week isn't just falling a game behind, but it's like losing another division game. That's a huge part.
That's true. That is true.
Now, I'm not saying, like, obviously there's
but I don't think the Ravens are going to be
13 games left in the season, but
I just don't trust the Ravens, man.
Like, I don't trust the Ravens
either, that was funny.
I'll be honest, I don't entirely trust any of the teams in the AFC North right now. Like, I mean, the most trustworthy team right now might be the Bengals. And that's like, and they're not exactly like, somebody you can really throw your hat behind either because of what happened the first 2 weeks. But like, I mean, last 2 weeks they've looked pretty good. And like, they're the only ones who have looked particularly good the last 2 weeks. The Ravens have looked like shit the past 2 weeks. The Steelers just have looked like shit all season. The Browns are the Browns and haven't really looked very good the last 2 weeks. Honestly, the Browns haven't looked really all that good all season. Like, I mean, I know they beat the Panthers, which again, they might be the worst team in the NFL. But it just in general, man, like the AFC North is just it's not the division it normally is. And like you're right, the Bengals would probably end up winning division because of the lack of competition. Like, I mean, nobody in the AFC North is good right now. Except you can maybe make the argument the Bengals are good right now, but that's a very recent development.
Man, they could beat the Chargers, man. They could beat the Chargers.
They can, although the Chargers are also probably going to be coming into this game pissed off too.
Like, I mean, like what they. The whole thing is that if you just had a $300 million quarterback, you'll be fine. And that's just what's bugging me the most. I'm just like, dang, like I got this guy. Like I got this guy. He's coming. Like this guy. He's amazing. He's the guy. This guy, I can't wait for y'all to see this guy. And he's gonna make all my problems go away. And then I won't be able to brag so much because this guy that I got is so freaking awesome. But I just gotta sit here and wait, man. It sucks. It sucks, man. It sucks. It sucks. Now I gotta wait 8 more weeks to see the best quarterback in my franchise history, Kyle. Kyle, you don't know how much that is just fucking with me right now.
Look,
okay,
Thomas,
no, you do know. This is like when Joe Burrow broke his leg.
Yeah, look. Okay, so fair. But first of all, Thomas, like, I respect it. Deshaun Watson is a generational talent, and from a talent perspective, Deshaun Watson is already the best quarterback you guys have had, really in your entire life, and probably since Otto Graham. Like, I mean, who was the guy you guys had in the 80s? What was his name?
What? Oh, Otto Graham. Otto Graham might have been greater than Otto Graham was one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
No. But the guy you had in the 80s.
Brian Sight.
No.
Bernie
The guy
Kosar.
who's Bernie Kosar. Yeah. So Deshaun Watson's probably better than Bernie Kosar. But like Deshaun Watson, from a talent perspective, is easily the best quarterback you guys have had since Otto Graham. Definitely the best quarterback that this iteration of the Browns has ever had. My only thing is, like I said, like, you know, it's the same thing I was saying about Russell Wilson. And this is going to be even worse because he's going to have like a ton of sitting around doing nothing time. Like, don't forget, this guy hasn't played since, what was it, like 2020? Maybe like, or is it, did he play in 2020?
But he's training every day though. Like he's training.
Training is not the same thing as playing.
But he's not even shooting commercials. Russell Wilson, he was shooting commercials. You think Deshaun Watson out here shooting? What do you think that Deshaun, like let's be real right here. Let's be real for a second. It's not like he got anything else but football. Like it's not like he got anything. This man can't go to the movie theater. Like, what does he have besides football right now?
I mean,
all he has to do is just practice. Just practice. That's all he needs to be doing. Just be practicing.
Okay, but practice is not the same thing as playing. Like, how long has he been out of football at this point? And I'm not saying
the ball every day.
So you don't have defenders like coming at you like cheetah level speeds constantly. You don't have people constantly in your face, like, you know, trying to fucking literally murder you on the field.
I mean, how many times have we seen like backup quarterbacks come in a game as they're not playing all year? And
it's a little. I mean, yes, but like, it's a little different when you're at the games and you're kind of like you see what's going on and there's, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Man,
like,
I give him 2 games. I give him 2 games to take off runs. I think he's gonna be great when he comes back. Actually, I think he'll come out swinging.
I wouldn't be shocked, and I'm not predicting this, by the way. I'm not predicting this. I'm not going this far to say this is actually going to happen. But I will say I wouldn't be shocked, Thomas, if Deshaun Watson ends up honestly just not being all that good. Period. Like, ever.
I think he's gonna lie to Texans.
Okay, so that's. I agree with you. I think he's going to come in the first week against the Texans, and he is going to beat the ever-loving hell out of the Texans. But it's gonna be like a Trojan horse, you know.
I think he's gonna beat the Texans, and I think it's gonna be kind of like, yeah, he's back, and then he's gonna have a really bad game against the Bengals.
That's what I'm saying.
And then we're gonna be like, okay, is he back or did he just beat the Texans? And then that's gonna be when we're like, all right, he needs some adjustment.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to come in. He's going to ball out against the Texans, and partially just because it's the Texans and there's all that emotion and everything that goes into it. But then who do they?
They play the Bengals next week.
Okay, so then they play the Bengals, and then that, you know, I mean,
who knows, man?
I wouldn't.
Well, if he balls out against the Texans, we're just like, hey, man, look. If he balls out, look, I'm telling you. If he balls out against the Texans, I'm talking the most shit. I'm going on this podcast to talk all this shit. I'm like, I see my boy out there. That's Jordan Cleese right there.
Okay, but like, you coming on this podcast, what are you even going to be saying? Because I even just said just now that he's probably going to have a big game against the Texans. But then, you know, week 2 is going to come. And that's partially going to be because there's no tape on him. You know, like, I mean, like,
God, there's 17 weeks in the season. Just get
18.
Honestly,
actually.
5 wins is still like, even if they get to 5 wins by the time they get to Deshaun Watson, the season ain't over. But if they get to 6 wins, I need 6. I need 6 for me. For me to be comfortable, I need 6. Because then I'm like, all right, you got 6 wins. Just go out and win me 3 more games. Win 3 out of the last 5 games. Like, he can win 3 out of the last 5 games. Here go $350 million. Win 3 out of the last 5 games. We're good. That's why winning 6 games is important.
So he's gonna beat the Texans. He's probably gonna beat the Commanders. And then probably going to beat the Steelers, like in week 18. So yeah, he'll probably win 3 games. I don't know if the Browns are going to get 6 wins with Jacoby Brissett.
We'd be good. Yeah, we'd be like 9-8.
But,
and it was speaking to the playoffs.
But again, if they'll be 9-8 if the Browns win 6 games with Jacoby Brissett, which I'm still not convinced is going to happen.
But the thing is, it should take him if he plays. As good as he is, I don't think it's going to take him 5 weeks to get back to shape. I don't think it's going to take him 5 weeks.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's going to take him.
What I'm saying is, if he gets to the playoffs, if you get him into the playoffs, all bets are off.
I don't know about that.
Watson's that good.
He's very talented, but just we've seen time and time again, being talented doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to succeed. Look at Johnny Manziel.
Are we missing something here? Like, this man led the league in passing.
Lots of people have led the league in passing and then went on to have bad seasons.
He had 40 touchdowns with no offensive line, man. I can't wait till he plays. God, I can't wait till he plays. He's going to go nuts.
Look, the Browns have a very, very easy schedule when Deshaun Watson comes back. There's the Bengals and Ravens, but outside of that, like the idea of the Browns getting 3 wins, it's like, well, of course you got Texans saying actually y'all probably get 4 wins when Watson comes back. Texans,
we can just squeeze
Saints,
to the playoffs,
Commanders,
man.
Steelers.
I think we can beat the Ravens with Deshaun Watson.
We'll see, because I just, the Ravens are a very opportunistic team, and I think Deshaun Watson is going to give them an opportunity to be opportunistic.
Maybe.
I mean, again, we're speculating about stuff that's happening in December. So
I know. This like I said, this is why we don't shoot on Sundays. We're these are some crazy ass takes. Look, for the record, I think Deshaun Watson's going to ball out when he comes back. I think he's going to come back. He's going to come out swinging.
I think he.
We're beating the Saints.
I think the first week, sure, but I think after that first week, I think reality is going to smack him in the face.
Man, okay.
And then don't forget, y'all still got to deal with that defense.
I don't know, man. He's gonna be good. Low key, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be we just get there. We'll just wait till that happens. Is that it? We got everybody on anything else to talk about?
I am so mad that we were not doing podcasts very frequently this offseason, because this would have been heated this offseason. That would have been such a fun time to be doing podcasts.
Yeah, it probably would have.
I mean, some episodes more fun than others for you, but
dude, but some of that stuff, dude. All right. We already talked about it though, for real. But some of that stuff, man, it doesn't make sense, and it bothers me how it's handled, and it bothers me how, I'm not saying anything he did was right. Not for the record, I'm not saying that. I just felt like it just felt fake too. The whole thing just felt fake. Not the accusers, all that stuff. I mean, the movement around it felt fake. Because all the people who were bashing him, all the anchormen who were going, let's be real for 5 seconds. All the anchormen, all the radio hosts, all the people on Twitter that crucified this man are going to be cheering his name in a year and a half.
That does bother me.
Do y'all really care? Do they really care? And that's what's been bothering me. I'm like, this is fake. This is all fake. This is all fake. Y'all don't really care.
Y'all looking for a soundbite. No, I do agree with that, and that's why when I'm talking about Deshaun Watson here, I'm sticking, and maybe on some level it's actually good that we didn't podcast this offseason because we would have had to get into the politics. But I'm sticking to a football perspective on this one on how I feel about Deshaun Watson. Like, I didn't feel that like when before we even thought that he was going to be leaving the Texans. I felt like Deshaun Watson was, a little overrated because he'd had some big seasons, but he'd also more recently, had he'd been playing well, but the Texans hadn't been winning. And that's kind of that to some extent. That's why I'm saying that, I think he's going to be kind of rusty when he gets back, but I think the Browns are also a deeply flawed team right now, particularly on defense. And it could be a similar situation to what that Texans team was. And don't forget, that was before the Texans started trading everybody and getting rid of this guy, getting rid of everybody. Like the Texans were still they still had JJ Watt and they still had DeAndre Hopkins and they still had XYZ, whoever. And they still weren't winning with Deshaun Watson. So that's kind of my point with the Browns. Yes, this is a very good football player, but I think you vastly overestimate the kind of impact that he's capable of having. He's not going to save you.
I think he'll be fine.
I think he'll be fine too. I think this idea that he's going to come in and things are just going to instantly be 100 times better. It's just not going to happen that way.
We'll see.
Okay. Well, anyway, so last point I want to make, because we're over an hour and a half into this, and I know, Thomas, you wanted to try to keep it under an hour, but honestly, that's just never going to happen with the way that we run these podcasts these days. But
I'm having fun.
So the last thing I want to say is getting back to the predictions a little bit. You and I both picked different teams for the Sunday night and Monday night matchups. So this whole thing where we're tied right now may not be tied by the end of it. But then again, we also you could win this game and I could win the Monday game. Right now, it's looking like your prediction of the Chiefs winning this game working out pretty well in your favor right now. Chiefs up 38-21. However, Tom Brady is starting to put things together. So, I wouldn't count your chickens just yet because this has been a crazy week so far. A bunch of teams. It's not just the Ravens who look like the Falcons. A bunch of teams looked like the Falcons this week. So, except for the Falcons. The Falcons did not look like the Falcons looked bad, but they didn't look like, we're going to get up big and then we're going to choke. They didn't look like that kind of the Falcons. They just looked like a bad football team.
Let's go be Chargers. Let's be Chargers.
I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, as a Bengals fan, I for the sake of my team want you guys not to win. But I'm not gonna lie. Just from a standpoint of how I feel about the Chargers and their fans, I wouldn't be all that upset if you guys beat the Chargers. I think that'd be really funny.
They could be the Chargers.
Okay. Well, we'll see. But anyway, y'all, I think that's going to be it for this episode of the Battle of Ohio podcast. By the way, it's 38-24. I was wrong. The Buccaneers are doing a little bit.
Thank you for everybody who watched.
Thank
you for everybody who watched.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody who commented. It's not this might be the most interaction we've had in an episode so far. And I appreciate that, and most of the people who commented, half of the people who commented, I don't know who they are. Obviously I know Joe, and I know Aaron, but I don't know Ryan and I don't know Thomas. So, I appreciate people coming in. We had I think 6 people watching at one point earlier, which doesn't feel like much, but for our podcast, which is still, in the grand scheme of things, relatively new, and we don't have a huge audience right now. It's just kind of cool to see that happen.
Hey, look, it's fun too, man. Like, I have more fun when people are watching. Y'all want to like anytime y'all want to like comments are welcome. We will put every single comment on the board. Unless we get like really big, and then it's gonna be really hard to do that.
I was about to say, in the future, if we keep at this and like we actually blow up at some point, it may come to a point where the comment section, we can't put all the comments up. But, it's always going to be, if we ever get to that point, then we're going to start.
We start doing super chats
and stuff. That's what I'm saying. We'll put super chats. For now, though, the comments are the super chats. The comments are just as good as super chats because we can't even get super chats right now anyway because we're not part of the YouTube partner program.
We'll get there.
I'm sure we'll get there one day.
I'm blowing up anyway right now. So it's
yeah. Just send some of that love back here. My YouTube channel is actually still growing. I'm getting near 100 subscribers, so that'll be a fun milestone. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode of the Battle of Ohio podcast, guys. Like I said, thank you so much for watching, and thank you all who commented for commenting. And those of you who didn't comment, that's totally fine. I still appreciate you watching. You can always catch more of what I do at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/thephelps. And my YouTube channel, which is Kyle Phelps, starting to grow and starting to do some more streams lately. I'm trying to have a little bit more of a general NFL footprint than just the Bengals channel. Like, I'm always going to be a Bengals channel. I'm always going to cover the Bengals, but my passion is football. So I want to cover the whole NFL, and I'm going to do that more and more as I can. There are going to be more streams that are going to be coming that aren't Bengals games, and there's going to be more stuff that I'm doing. And I'm pouring everything I can into it. So go check it out, and I promise you won't be disappointed. Thomas, you can find more of what he does at T_star94 on Twitter and Instagram, and the Thomas J Network on YouTube and TikTok. And he's definitely been pretty active lately too. So you want to go check his stuff out.
Thanks, yeah.
But am I forgetting anything, Thomas?
New music video.
Got a new music video coming out for what song?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
I might just have one come out.
Okay. All right, we'll go check out Thomas's,
Britney, y'all.
Go check out Thomas's new music video for Britney. Beyond that, I'll leave y'all as I always do with a hooday.
Go Browns. Did you see my new music?